Bang, bang. What's going on, guys? This is the main event on Talkin Hands. As always, I'm Rose Preston Actal, joined by my co-host, Danny Betts. We're here to break down this week's main event. Kind of short card, so we're going to go over two okay-ish fights. First off, we have Daniel Dubois taking on Trevor Bryan. Then we're going over the Berlanga fight versus Alexis Anguello. But prior to that, we're going to recap last week's fight. Devin Haney gets it done for us. Devin Haney, by decision, dominates George Kambosos in Australia. Danny, what were your thoughts on that performance?
Bro, I got 3 letters, man. It's JAB, man. In our prediction video, we were talking about Haney's jab, man. Like I said, Haney's jab is one of the best out there. And I knew if he would use it early and often, he was going to neutralize everything that Kambosos did. And that's exactly what happened. It was pure domination. If you're a fan of boxing, you would have, loved technical boxing, you would have loved it. But some people call it boring because they only like knockouts. Me, personally, I like seeing footwork, jab, counters, things like that. For me, it was a masterclass, man. And Haney showed up, man. He went all the way to Australia, gave him every little thing Kambosos wanted for that fight, and he still went over there against all odds. And now he's undisputed.
Yeah, it just like you said, huge undisputed 135. We know Charlo's undisputed as well at 168, I believe. So both are huge performances. Nick, what's up, Nick? Come in, Danny's
Appreciate
voice.
it, Nick.
There we go. But yeah, it went how we said. Kambosos to me was an outlier performance. Lopez fought the wrong fight versus Kambosos the whole time. Lopez came out of there, hooking with him, trying to be like Mr. Macho Man, and he lost. Haney stuck to a game plan, jabbed up top, jabbed the body. Yeah, he wasn't that entertaining, but that's how he goes. He won the fight, Haney by decision, even money. It was going to happen. It happened pretty easy. I'm looking forward to who's next, though, for Haney at 135, because there's quite the list of potential opponents. Who do you think? Because I don't think they should do the rematch, obviously.
Dude, that's another thing, man. I know Kambosos has the rematch clause, but everybody that saw that fight, it's you don't have to do a rematch because it was a clear win for Haney. Even though some of the scorecards were a little bit closer than I thought. I'm like, dude, Kambosos won 2 rounds at best, and one of them was the 12th round where Haney was like, "I got this in the bag, so let me just cruise."
Yeah, what I was gonna say was I saw one guy on, I believe it was Twitter. He said Kambosos won 115, 130. And I was like, what are we talking about?
I don't like being disrespectful, but dude, what the hell are you watching, bro? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Kambosos isn't, like I said, he's a good fighter. He's just not at Haney's level. Haney's a great technical boxer. If he fights the right fight, he's going to be hard to beat against anyone. So
Nick, exactly. Nick, I thought Kambosos, if I remember right, it was one of those rounds. I think it was a 5th. I think Kambosos won the 5th, and then he won the 12th. That's it, in my eyes. Okay, at best 3, I guess, but it was not close at all, in my opinion. And you know what else, Preston? I can see this happening. Since it was a blowout, I can see them trying to offer Kambosos step away money on the rematch, offer him $8 million, $7 million, whatever it is, to step aside to get a bigger fight, for Haney. Because nobody wants to see that rematch again. In Australia, if I'm not mistaken, again, that's...
Yeah, there's no point. Yeah, there's really no point. Because to me, it was kind of what we said last week. It reminded me of when Spence went to England, fought Kell Brook. He knocked Kell Brook out, got the title, and he's fought in America ever since. And Haney, like Spence, better boxer, goes into the other guy's turf, wins the fight clearly, comes back home, undisputed 135. I mean, there's plenty of options. I doubt Lomachenko will fight him, but I know Ryan Garcia's mouth just yaps. Yeah.
Bro, let him worry about Fortuna. Let him, he was supposed to fight Fortuna, before he pulled out, like typical Ryan Garcia. So he should worry about that fight. Obviously a lot of people are talking about Tank Davis. I don't see it happening. I mean, that would be awesome. Like Tank Davis against Haney right away. But no, Machico's another one, with the whole war situation and stuff like that. I don't know when he's gonna fight again. And shout out to Mills, Real Deal Prime, and Noli Knows, and my boy Nick on the chat. What up, boys? Yeah, like you said, man, there's a lot of exciting fights for him. And eventually, in my opinion, he's gonna move up because he's big for the division, and there's more fights up there in the other weight class.
Yeah, I don't see the Tank fight happening. I think Tank's gonna get. And again, if I'm Tank Davis, I wouldn't take the fight. I think Haney would win that fight pretty easily, but I'm a known Tank Davis hater. So, I thought Haney did the job, did look good. What I was irritated with, and I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but Lopez, they're saying his next fight's in August, and he's going to fight at 140.
Yeah, he's moving up to 140. Yeah, he was, right after the Kambosos fight, he was saying, like, dude, they're killing me with this weight cut. Like, I can't do it anymore, things like that. So he announced, like, weeks after that fight that he was moving up. I'm excited to see him, if he's got his head right and his coaching and his dad's, in the right situation. We'll see how he goes in 140. But what do you think about this? I saw this name for Haney, Isaac Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that fight. I think it's a very winnable fight for Haney. Cruz is.
He's got that power, man.
Yeah, and he's at, I guess, the top of his game too. Fights Tank, then he demolishes Gamboa. So good name. Yeah, I think Haney would just make it a very, very boring fight and jab him to death. But Cruz would try to crowd him a little more. That was the thing with Kambosos. He didn't really fight his fight at all. Granted,
he couldn't.
Yeah, I know Haney put him all, with the jab and everything, but I thought the first few rounds he was going to come out guns a-blazing, get it on him, and it was. I think he was just kind of what we said, like too high on his own supply, basically, like really bigging him up and thinking like, oh, I'm going to run through this guy. I'm the king of the lightweights and could barely make weight.
Bro, it's funny how shit twists around because he was, complaining about Lopez being like that, and he was making fun of Lopez. He's like, oh, bro, you're not even gonna make weight before weigh-ins, and saying that the belt's got his head all big, and the same thing happened to Kambosos. He got the belts, he got big-headed and missed weight and all types of stuff, man. And then he's gonna say, this is hilarious, bro. He missed weight and he said, it's the art of war, deception. I probably did this on purpose, and I'm looking at him like, dude, you are crazy. Like, what?
Yeah. Get off the pain meds, you lunatic.
For real.
Yeah. But, it was great call. Another win in the books for the show. Haney by decision. We cashed that.
Yes, sir.
If you guys watch, we're going to cash another one right now. We will move on. This week's main event, we have Daniel Dubois taking on Trevor Bryan. Daniel Dubois, current odds at our sponsor, mybookie.ag. Enter that promo code PUBSPORTS. Get your 50% deposit bonus match, credit debit, 100% Bitcoin. At mybookie.ag, Daniel Dubois is currently minus 1,000. The comeback on Trevor Bryan plus 700. Mybookie.ag, promo code PUBSPORTS. So, Danny, I know where I'm going. I'm pretty sure I would know where you're going, but what's your thoughts on this heavyweight title clash?
I'll be honest, man. These are two big motherfuckers just going at it. It's heavyweights, they're not the top of the division, things like that. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you straight right away. Like, I got Dubois in this one. I got him by finish. I mean, obviously those odds are crazy. So obviously I gotta look for some round props. I think I'm not gonna say he has a hard time. I think he's gonna take it easy the first couple rounds. Find his way in there and jab. Because he's fighting a vet, and I'm not mistaken, he's 38 years old?
Bryan's an older guy.
Yeah, Bryan's 30. Let me make sure. Not 38, my bad. 32. But he's fought, he's undefeated. He's fought some decent competition. But he had, I don't know if you remember, he had some hype to him, earlier in his career. Not like the big next thing or whatever, but he had some hype. He never lived up to it. He's not that good in my opinion. He has some power as heavyweight again, but I think Dubois is gonna take it, jab early, find his timing, because he's not like the craziest aggressive fighter. He does have a lot of finishes in the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
I think the over under is 3.5.
3.5, yes.
I'm gonna look for rounds 4, 5, and 6, and I think it's at plus 250. That's my angle for this one. I think he starts with the jab. He's got a decent jab. Bryan doesn't have a lot of movement. He's got big power. He likes to counter. But Dubois, he's pretty decent. I don't think he's high level. Like when he fought George Joyce, he was outclassed basically. But that fight was pretty close. They stopped it.
It was his eye.
Yeah, they stopped it because he was getting jabbed to death. And his eye was fucked up. But how you feel about this one, Preston?
So I knew a little bit about Trevor Bryan, but watching some of his competition isn't the worst. So he knocked out BJ Flores, but BJ Flores is undersized, and he knocked out Bermain Sterving, who I know from the Wilder fights. Wilder cleaned his clock really easily, but he's a name, and he got him out of there in the 11th round. Dubois, he fought on the Paul undercard. I remember, and he killed the guy in 2 minutes. He's good, quick, fast, the better. Yeah, I'd say he's a better boxer overall, but I don't agree with the line. I think the line should be closer. I think Dubois should be more like minus 500. And I kind of agree with you. 3.5 to me is kind of disrespectful because this guy's a tough, durable vet. It's not a can. And Dubois, he can't just go in there guns blazing because I think Bryan's going to clinch him up, hold him, let him try to gas out and finish him later. Dirty Reg in the chat. Boxing sucks. The best don't fight the best. Dirty Reg, I don't think you've been watching boxing the last 2 months because that's all we've been seeing is great fights.
Yeah, we've been seeing great fights. I mean, you wouldn't know, certain people don't know, certain names that are coming up. Like
today, Donaire fought Inoue.
The rematch. Nope. So people don't understand how big that fight is. Like the first fight, I was like a little kid, and then I got to see it again. And Inoue, we're seeing greatness with Inoue, and people are just brushing it off just because he's from Japan.
Yeah.
Doesn't know English.
Yeah, Inoue's my number 2 fighter, pound for pound, behind Spence. But we'll get to maybe that list down the line on a
real quick. Going to what you were saying, Preston, Dubois is 24. That's the thing too. So he's improvement. He's gonna have improvements. He's young. And what Noli was asking is the over 3.5. I kind of don't want to play it just because I think it's gonna be close. That's why I like the value with plus money at plus 250. I think it's gonna end around there, like round 4 or 5 or 6. I could double up, go over, and then hopefully I get a late stoppage in the 4th round. Or 5th or 6th, and I catch twice, but I might just take that round props.
Yeah, Dirty Reg, Spence versus Bud is likely happening in October. So that is hopefully going to happen, and that's a huge fight. Yeah, I like that too because 1 through 3, I just looked it up. 1 through 3 is even money. And I don't think you want even money on round 1, round 2, round 3 knockout for what could be a 12-round fight. There's no value in that at all. Yeah, it's Kong Schnizzle. Noli likes Bud in that bout, I guess. But I like your look there. 4 through 6. I like the over. I just think Bryan is, to me, getting a little disrespected. Watching what he did to Sterving, he looked good. Dubois, though, like you said, young guy, gonna get better. Still not as technical as I would like him to be at the top of the chain, but he'll get some big fights coming up. I mean, he should. I would think he'd want to fight Joe Joyce again. I know Parker's out there at heavyweight. Wilder, I don't know where he's at, since his
Yeah,
loss to Fury, if he still wants to
I don't
fight
know.
or so there's definitely a lot of decent heavyweights. I know it's never been like a great division, but there's definitely fights for him if he gets it done as we think. We can move on. The other big bout of the weekend, we have the return again, Edgar Berlanga. Berlanga is taking on Romer Alexis Anguello. Berlanga still undefeated, so he came off another decision where he defeated Steve Rolls. Berlanga, current record 19 wins, 0 losses, 16 wins by knockout. Last 3 fights all went to decision. He won all 3 fights. Comes back to New York City this weekend. Danny, I think you're I don't know if you're a huge Berlanga fan, but I'm sure you followed his career, decently well up to this point.
Of course, like if you don't know, I'm Puerto Rican. I always support my Puerto Rican fighters. Never biased. I would tell you if you're trash or if you're gonna lose or what the hell you need to improve. But Berlanga's. Well, I respect about him. Like even though he's taking it easy, but every fight he steps up. Like this is a step up for him. And the odds reflect that he's not minus 1,000 or anything like that. He's minus 250, 275.
Yeah.
And remember when we predicted his last fight? Before that fight, he had a big surgery, with his power hand. It was his right arm. And I'm not surprised that it went to decision. I actually like it because he's getting the rounds in. That's more experience for him, things like that. And Gulo's tough, man. He's fought David Benavidez. He's fought Sudo Ramirez. And Ramirez can crack, and he went the distance with him. Benavidez took him on in the 10th round. It was late. It was his corner. Well, it was basically him. I saw it. He told him, like, yo, I'm done. It was like in the 10th round.
Yeah.
But Berlanga, I see improvements here and there. I like how he's going to decision. He still carries the power. It's tricky because the over-under is at 8.5, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been going to decision a lot. I can't see a TKO in this one because Angulo, he doesn't throw a lot. He throws low volume, but he counters really good. Like he'll throw some power at you, try to counter you. So Berlanga's got to be careful because he has been dropped one time, not super hurt, but lost the balance basically. But I just don't like how Angulo like shells up and then takes a lot of hits without even throwing back. And I could just see, being Berlanga, be on this card, I could see the refs being like, oh, okay, he had enough, and you're stopping it in TKO late. So I don't know. How you see this fight going, Preston?
Yeah, so I watched the Angulo versus Benavidez fight today, and then I remember a little bit of his fight versus Ramirez. Angulo, like you said, he was taking punches.
Yeah,
he was taking some punches by Benavidez. And like I said, his hands were up. But every time he would counter, he'd counter with like a short, like chopping right. And then when you watch the fight where Berlanga got dropped, he got dropped with an overhand counter right, kind of rushing in against the ropes. So I like this fight not to go the distance. I think Berlanga leaves himself a little too open with his defense. I think he's going to try to go for the kill. I think Angulo is going to go for the kill. I think this is going to be a very entertaining fight, actually. I think it's going to be pretty action-packed. Both guys are going to give and take. But in the end, I do think Berlanga will get him out of there and move on to probably a really, really big fight for his next bout. Because, this guy is definitely no joke. He's been in there with some very tough guys. Granted, they're losses, but at least he's getting in there, getting the rounds, and I can stop immediately. And I like Berlanga late, but I would prefer no distance for the possibility of Berlanga getting clipped and knocked out in the fight. But I like this fight quite a bit personally.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I could see that because, like I said, his counters, he's shutting up, like I said, and then he'll throw that counter after, throw your little combos here and there. And I can see Berlanga getting caught, even though I edge Berlanga getting the knockout, but I definitely like the no distance. Shout out to Brad, 22. He said props to y'all for knowing either guy here. Yeah, and I get it, man. We always want to see the huge fights, and it's not official, but we're gonna see that Bud and Spence fight. And Shakur fighting Valdez was a huge fight too. We saw. I don't know if you watch women's boxing, but that Soriano Taylor fight was amazing. You gotta keep up with these fights, man. These fights are awesome, man. Everybody falls in love with names, but I rather see people go at it. I want to see you perform. But yeah, man, I'm torn on this one honestly for a bet perspective, but I do like the no distance. Of course, if I got no distance, I'm chasing those round props because those round props are nice, especially if it's late.
Yeah, I mean 8, 9, 10 would definitely be what you I think would be looking at, and you would definitely get at least 8 to 1.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
Especially on Gulo's side. Imagine those are gonna be some crazy numbers.
yeah, yeah. I mean, right now I'm looking fight ends in general round 9 to 10. It's plus 1,000, plus 1,200. So yeah, you're definitely getting 10 to 1, 12 to 1. Dirty Reg says he's UFC. Yeah, big pay per view this weekend. Dirty Reg,
Yes,
big pay
sir.
per view this weekend. Yeah, I like it. I like no distance here, and I like that quite a bit. I want to look at Prize Picks. Enter that promo code, guys. Pub Sports. Get your 100% deposit bonus match first time on your deposit bonus, and they don't have any boxing yet because last week, unfortunately, Devin Haney didn't hit his over.
He didn't. I
They
thought he
had it.
did.
They had it at 168.5.
Oh wow. I thought it was lower than that. I thought you
I
said it
thought
was
it was
lower.
going to be too, but they juiced it pretty
Wow, I'm
much.
surprised.
So I was kind of shocked by that one. But this fight, I would be curious to see what the
Yeah,
punches landed would be because I think both guys are going to give and take quite a
yeah.
bit. But I think Berlanga is going to be the busier fighter.
Oh, for
And
sure. For sure, Berlanga's gonna throw more.
yeah, it was just seeing those odds definitely surprised me. So I like no distance here quite a bit. Guys in the chat, anyone, if you guys could, I'm sure we could drop the link. We have a thing called Buy Me a Coffee. Uh, Anything helps for that. Buy Me a Coffee. We're going to plan a trip to Atlantic City in the coming months. One coffee, $5. All the proceeds go to Pub Sports Radio. Helps us out greatly. Buymeacoffee.com, Pub Sports Radio. That is greatly appreciated. We can move on. Best bet. Danny, what do you have for best bet?
This weekend, I'll be honest, man. I'm gonna take it a little easier. I put 3 units on Haney by decision. That got cash. That was a good cash. In a way, man, he is. I'm not even mad about it because I threw in a way around 7 to 12 at plus 185. And I think I sprinkled around 9 at plus like 1,200 or something like that. But he got the early KO in round 2, so I lost almost 2 units on that one. But my best bet for this one, Dubois rounds 4 to 6. I think is like plus 250. I'll probably put like a half unit on that. Um, check me out on Twitter on Danny Betts because I try to do my research during the week on the undercards. Try to do my tape study a little bit more on these other fights. One thing we didn't talk about, Preston, about the Berlanga fight. I think it was going to be the Coleman.
Yeah.
One of my favorite prospects out there is Xander Zayas. He got really sick. He pulled out the fight. It sucks because that kid, the sky's the limit for him. He's only 19. He had to pull out. So I think Berlanga's gonna have a little bit more a chip on his shoulder. Like they're really close. So I think he's gonna try to show out. Obviously he wants to do it anyways, but I think that's another little push. And you might hit your bet even more because of violence. But my best bet is Dubois rounds 4 through 6 at plus 250, I think.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit, and I agree. I just think for Berlanga too, I I think he's going to want to show more out of his arsenal. Steve Rolls is a more technical defensive fighter. It's hard to get him out of there. So Berlanga definitely had a difficult time with that bout. This guy, I think he's there to get hit. I think he wants to punch back. I think it's going to be a pretty action fight. My best bet. I think you know where I'm going with this. No distance. Right now it's pick 'em minus 110 either way. I'm going no distance -110 in Berlanga and Gulo. I do co-sign Danny's look on Dubois 4 through 6 because I personally think Trevor Bryan isn't that bad. I think he's going to make it a little difficult for Dubois. But eventually, Dubois' speed and slightly superior boxing ability will get him out of there in those middle rounds. I like that look quite a bit. But
Violence, baby, violence this weekend.
yeah, I do. I think all the fights are going to be KOs, and obviously we didn't really bring it up, but there's no reason to. Munguia, he's a minus 5,000 favorite. So.
I'm gonna be pissed. I know it's been a while. Like, well, his last fight he got a knockout, but like he should get a knockout here. Like Munguia
he fights cans every day, every fight.
Bro, they protect him. They're protecting him like crazy. He's got a bunch of fights that he experienced. But shout out to Big Show. Like he said, smash that like button. Leave a comment with your predictions and what you think is gonna happen, man. And subscribe and renew. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be disappointed if Munguia don't get that stoppage.
No, we saw. For me, it was when we were at Munguia's fight. It was in Houston against. It was another Inoue, Takashi Inoue, I believe his name was. We were at the fight. Munguia has zero defense,
bro.
No defense.
See, that's my thing. People love seeing it. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing that too. But like, I appreciate some good defense because the dude, if he fights the wrong fighter with some power like a counter, he's gonna get clipped.
Well, the rumor was they were going to fast track him to Canelo for Cinco de Mayo weekend, like a year ago. And then every fight I watched from his, I was like, he would get knocked out in like 3 rounds quick at Canelo. Right. So, yeah, Munguia, again, 3 fights, 3 knockouts. That's what we're hoping for this weekend. Next week, we got a big fight, Peter Bev versus Joe Smith. That should be a good one. And, yeah, we will let's just get that violence. We'll see you guys next week. This was the main event on Talkin Hands. Peace.